In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace be upon you. It's June 12th and Thursday morning in Pakistan. Let's begin today's most important news from Washington, D.C., where I want to remind you that on Saturday, June 14th, at around 3 p.m., the Pakistani community will gather and hold a protest because Field Marshal Asim Munir is coming to Washington, D.C. to participate in a parade. The Pakistani community will also come together to express their resolve that they do not endorse what today's dictator, Field Marshal Asim Munir, is doing in Pakistan against democracy, the rule of law, and freedom of speech. Furthermore, the way Imran Khan, his wife Bushra Bibi, and other innocent political prisoners have been kept in jails, how people have been sentenced by military courts, how the judiciary in Pakistan has been held hostage, and how the elections have been rigged, the Pakistani community will be protesting against all these crimes on Saturday, June 14th at around 3 p.m. in front of the Pakistani embassy in Washington, D.C. I will also be present there. Do make sure to come and don't forget to watch till the end of this vlog. There's an unforgettable story at the end about a Pakistani who is making a special 12-hour drive from Canada just to participate here. He's sharing the reasons why he's coming, and he's also asking you whether you will make it to Washington, D.C. or not. He had a very delightful conversation, so be sure to listen to it. We will present that conversation to you at the end of this vlog. It's a 2-minute conversation and you will find it very interesting. So now let's move forward. The next news is related to this, and now our sources are telling us that all of Field Marshal Asim Munir's people have made every possible effort for him to meet with Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, or any other important official such as the Secretary of Defense. At this moment, I can confirm to you that none of these meetings have been confirmed. Now, you might ask whether this news is true or false. I cannot present this news to you with 100% confidence because I do not have any documents, but according to very reliable sources, it has been learnt that none of the key ministers in the Trump administration have agreed to a meeting so far. Efforts are in full swing and there is still tomorrow left. If confirmation is received from anyone, then the meeting will take place. The main effort is to meet Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, or the defense minister, or while at it, anyone from Trump's cabinet, or even to get a photo with President Trump himself. These efforts are being made vigorously. So far, Field Marshal Saib has not been successful in this. There has been no meeting. Perhaps he might get a meeting with the CENTCOM commander, General Michael Kurilla, or with some other general from the Pentagon. But those are routine matters. Generals often meet each other. However, his main effort is to get an endorsement to secure a posting within Pakistan or the region by meeting with a minister from Trump's cabinet. As soon as we receive confirmation, we will definitely inform you about whom he's meeting. And if we find out the time or agenda of the meeting, we will share that with you as well. Now let's move on to the next news, which is that the US CENTCOM commander, General Michael Kurilla, had a hearing before the US Congress in which he explained how America's relations with the Pakistani military are these days. First of all, he called the Pakistani military, Pakistan, a phenomenal partner and said that the relationship is very close. He also made the reasons for this relationship absolutely clear. There is nothing like an economic partnership or a joint venture like the JF-17 with China. There is no such collaboration. Purely, he explained that those terrorists who are wanted by America or whom America considers terrorists and is trying to hunt down, the Pakistanis are catching them and handing them over to us. He shared an incident saying that General Asim Munir personally called him, and he made this call at the time when, as you might remember, a terrorist was recently captured in Kabul and handed over to the United States. President Trump had even thanked Pakistan for this. General Michael, the American general, is recounting this event. When the terrorist was caught, he received a special call. I think the suspect's name was Jafar, the one who was captured and handed over. General Asim Munir called and said, "We have caught him and are ready to hand him over to you. Please inform President Trump and the Secretary of Defense about this." Now just consider that no one else made this call, not Pakistan's foreign minister, not any other Pakistani official. General Asim Munir directly called the CENTCOM general to inform him and also express the wish that he please tell President Trump, the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of State that I have accomplished this performance, I have passed the test. This is what our Field Marshal has conveyed, because the Field Marshal needs very strong endorsement from here. And he also knows that given the extent of human rights violations he has committed, the way he has destroyed democracy, the way he has held the judiciary hostage if he does not have the protective hand of America over him, then, the consequences of these crimes in the international court, there could be many more things that could happen. To avoid all these things, their desire is that the brave Americans should have a hand in their back. And for that, they are dying, and they have directly requested the general, and we are not saying this. The general has now openly said in the hearing that took place in Congress that yes, this person has been caught and given to us. And in this regard, Army Chief General Asim Munir called me directly and expressed his wish, saying, "We have caught the person and are handing him over to you, but please make sure to inform President Trump and his important ministers about this." Now, you can imagine for yourself just how desperate they are. On one hand, the United States is criticized, or Pakistanis living in America are taunted, asking why they protest here. Why do you talk about Pakistan abroad? And on the other hand, the need for endorsement is so strong that they call and say, please, by any means, make sure to inform them. All right, related to this, Zalmay Khalilzad posts some very strong tweets. Zalmay Khalilzad has also served as the US ambassador in Pakistan. He is of Afghan origin. He has a deep understanding of the affairs of Afghanistan and Pakistan, whether it's the relationship or conflict between the Pakistani military and the Taliban, or all the military or conflict-related matters of this entire region. He understands them very well. He has been consistently talking about free Imran Khan, repeatedly saying that until you release Imran Khan, Pakistan's problems will not be solved. Now, he has made a new tweet in which, regarding the Congressional National Hearing, he commented on General Kurilla, the commander of CENTCOM, who called Pakistan a phenomenal partner in counter-terrorism. He said that this is a bit of an exaggeration, that the general has exaggerated too much. He is accusing the Pakistani military. Zalmay Khalilzad is saying that in the past they have played a double game, maintaining relationships on all sides, with us, with the other side, and with the Taliban as well. He says they will continue to do the same, so you shouldn't trust them all the way. You could say this is the summary of his tweet. So when Zalmay Khalilzad is saying this, you should also understand that there are quite a few people in America who understand and talk about this. He also referenced here that, remember, in the past we found Osama bin Laden in Pakistan itself, even though at that time Pakistan was our full partner in the war against terror. All right, moving on, let's talk a bit about the budget. We discussed some aspects with you yesterday, but there are still a few budget-related things left which are also important. In the current budget, the Fauji Foundation, which includes Fauji Cement, Askari Cement, Fauji Fertilizer, Dalish Aliyah, as you know, universities, some banks under it, some insurance companies, and much more altogether, 18 industries and subsidiary companies are operating under it. There is a proposal to grant it a tax exemption. Yes, and then you must have noticed that whenever this topic comes up, many of our generals say, look at the institutions the military built. Civilians can't create such institutions. Civilians can't make things the way we do. So they say, why don't you do business too? Who's stopping you? Sir, these are the very advantages because of which no one else can survive in business this way. When the business margin itself is 20 to 25%, and after paying the main taxes, saving 20 to 25% is considered the art, the essence of business. But if you are given a 20, 25 or even 30% tax exemption, then even if you are incompetent, you will still survive in the market. So now it is beyond understanding that if other cement manufacturing companies or fertilizer companies are subject to tax, then why are you given an exemption? Business should be fair, shouldn't it? If you have decided to do business, then there should at least be honesty in business. Leave everything else aside. Well, that's a separate debate altogether, whether you should be doing business or not. Let's leave that aside for now. All right, let's accept that you are doing business, but business should be conducted with fairness, right? I mean, if DHA is being developed and it's getting government land and cheap resources, then tell me, how are other housing societies supposed to compete with it? The same goes for fertilizer, the same goes for cement, and similarly for your other companies like Fauji Foods and Fauji Cereals. If tax exemptions are to be given, then everyone in the sector should receive them. To be honest, if others are not to be given these exemptions, then you shouldn't get them either. At the very least, we shouldn't compromise the basic principles of business economics in Pakistan. Otherwise, when these billions of rupees in tax exemptions are granted, the burden ultimately falls on the common man, the poor, and they've been bearing this weight for years. But I think your wish is that he should continue bearing this burden in the future as well. Let's move on. Cars have been made more expensive for the middle class and the common man. An 18% tax has been imposed on the 800cc Alto, while the 2021 model Land Cruiser will become 4 to 5 million rupees cheaper. This is what Mustafa Nawaz Khokhar is saying. He says that on one hand, a car worth tens of millions, an 80 or 100 million rupee car, will become about 5 million rupees cheaper, and on the other hand, the 800cc Alto has been slapped with an 18% tax, meaning that car will become even more expensive. This is the favor being done. And now, as for the 800cc, you can understand yourself, it's a small car, and now even small cars are coming with 1000cc engines. The small cars these days include some with 800cc and even some with 600 or 650cc engines, but those are really tiny cars. Basically, you can say that these are the cars that the lower middle class can afford, and even for them they have imposed this 18% tax. If you add about 1/5 of the car's price to its cost, for example, if a car is worth 1 million rupees, which by the way is nothing these days, that car would actually cost 3 million now. So if the car is 3 million, then you should understand that another 600,000 will be added to it. And now that car will cost 35 to 36 lakh rupees. All right. So a reporter simply asked how much the special allowance announced for the armed forces in the budget speech would be and how much additional burden it would place on the budget. Surprisingly, the finance minister and the finance secretary became flustered and avoided answering the question, and then the line was disconnected. In other words, they sidestepped the press conference at that point and did not answer this question, even though it should have been clearly stated whether this allowance arranged for the armed forces is for 1 year, 2 years or 3 years. There should be transparency. It should be openly explained that this is the arrangement we have made. What is there to hide about it? Yes, the next point is related to this. Just like the earlier discussion about the Fauji Foundation, this is also related. Sanullah Khan, who works with Dawn TV, is a very well-established reporter of the most experienced and hardworking reporters. And now I believe he's the bureau chief in his field. He said that you have given tax exemptions to 111 major institutions, which also include some of the most expensive hospitals like Al-Shifa and Ziauddin. All the institutions under the Fauji Foundation as well as bar councils are also included. What is the reason for this? Have you come under political pressure? You have taken away all the concessions that the public had, even the small ones, and these major institutions of the elite, where the wealthy use the facilities, you have given them tax exemptions. Tell us, what do you have to say about this? There was no answer to this either. Our finance minister did not have any satisfactory response to this as well. The next news I have for you is quite interesting. Listen and be amazed. The news is that enforcement stations will be established to prevent smuggling. Well, that's fine. Smuggling does happen, so enforcement stations will be set up for that. But listen to the next part. For these enforcement stations, retired junior army officers and military personnel can be hired on contract. This is also a good thing. People who come from our armed forces, this isn't just here. It's the same all over the world. Most people from the armed forces, they retire in their mid-40s, 50s or early 50s. So having a second career is their right. There's nothing wrong if they get a job, are given one, or are trained for it. When they are about to separate from the army, if they are trained beforehand to take up another job, these are all normal things. They happen all over the world. But having said that, what's happening here raises a bit of a question for me. The smuggling that's going on involves those currently in service hall departments, not just the army. Whoever has control is involved and they're all currently serving. Smuggling happens at the border, right? It's not like water is leaking from a broken pipe at home. This is smuggling from Iran, some from China, some from India, wherever the 7 neighboring countries connect. That's where the smuggling is happening, and it's happening at the border. And at the border, it's not retired personnel. It's currently serving army officers, rangers, other paramilitary forces, FC, police, whatever forces are there. Their people are present at the border, and it's because of them that this smuggling is happening. Remember when the army chief went to Karachi, this was about 2 years ago, made a promise to the business community there that he would stop smuggling. Because the biggest issue for business people is that they pay taxes while smugglers evade taxes. For example, take the case of petrol and diesel. Billions of rupees worth of petrol and diesel are smuggled into Pakistan from Iran. Now, when this is smuggled in, the companies and petrol pumps that sell petrol after paying full taxes cannot compete with them, and that's why their business suffers. That's why they say stop this smuggling. The army chief made this promise twice in Karachi. He went there once and made the promise, then went again 6 months or a year later and made the same promise. Both times, One of the country's most renowned anchors, Kamran Khan, a very senior anchor, did a special transmission, a sort of vlog, in which he quoted the army chief as saying, "I will stop this smuggling at all costs." He also issued instructions to the relevant corps commanders, Southern Command, and others that from today onwards there should be no more smuggling. After that, Business Recorder published a report stating that smuggling had actually increased. Yes, despite both promises by the army chief, smuggling at the border increased. Now, Field Marshal Saib, you couldn't stop the smuggling. So those who are on active duty, those currently serving, are not stopping the smuggling. In fact, they are facilitating it. So what will these poor retired officers do when they come back? I'm not against them getting jobs, I said before. They should get jobs, but for the purpose you are hiring them, this will only make things worse. I mean, first the serving officers are doing it, and now the retired ones will come and facilitate this smuggling too. This is beyond our understanding. How will you stop this smuggling, and how do you intend to stop it? Before I go, I promised you I would share a message. This is Mr. Ali Khan, who lives in Canada. He is an overseas Pakistani. He is coming here by road after a 12-hour journey because according to him, flights are very expensive. Maybe he can't afford it, or maybe he can but is deliberately choosing to drive. He would know, or maybe you'll find out in this message. But he has spoken in a very compelling way. I would like you to listen carefully, reflect, and make a commitment. And if you want, please do comment below. If any of you want to come from Canada or along this entire route, you can, because he has shown the whole route on the map. So please do comment under this vlog, and we will try to share a link here so you can communicate with each other. Or you can use this vlog as a place to talk to one another. Since there is a comment section below, you can comment and communicate with each other right here and coordinate if you want to come as a caravan. I will welcome you with open arms. I have promised Mr. Ali Khan that when he arrives after a 12-hour drive, I have never met him in my life, don't even know him, but seeing his passion, he tweeted, and I replied that when you arrive, I will welcome you there with open arms. You will be my guest, and God willing, we will have lunch or dinner together, and we will extend whatever hospitality we can. Please do come. My request to you is that those who live in these areas should coordinate with him. And as a caravan, you should reach Washington, D.C. so you can join your voices with other Pakistanis there. Now, listen to what Ali Khan has to say. This time on Saturday, I took a day off. I thought I'd book a flight from here, from Toronto to Washington. And then the flight was around $700. And it's a 3.5-hour flight. And then you have to come back as well. So I'm not booking this flight. Why am I not booking it? Let me explain. After working the whole week, on Friday night, I'll finish up around 10 or 11 at night, and then I'll get home. Then early Saturday morning, around 2 or 3, I'll have to leave again without getting enough sleep. And after that, it's about a 10 to 12-hour drive. GPS says 9 hours. But with traffic and other delays, it'll be longer. And the point of telling you about this whole drive isn't to show off or say, look how hardworking I am. My intention is to share with you that coming here from this area or nearby areas isn't really a difficult thing. Let me give you some statistics. When Imran Khan came to Capital One Arena, the arena was packed and there were thousands of people outside as well. Do you know how much its total capacity is exactly? At that particular time, it was considered a prime mover in its field. And below, you can see that there are approximately 100 Pakistanis living in New York and its surrounding suburbs, live in the surrounding areas. If I can drive 12 hours all the way down and then drive 12 hours back the very next day, then what excuse do you have for not making a 3, 4 or even 5-hour drive there? That's my only question. And my point isn't just for Imran Khan, it's also for that poor person who has never received justice to this day, and for those people of November 26 whose lives were taken. And this is for Dr. Mehrang as well. Allow me to take your leave now. May Allah be your protector and helper. Long live Pakistan.